Hello, and welcome to Knights of the Nightmare Let's Play. This is video 12, covering Scene 8. Last time, we finished a leveling video where we picked up some extra XP and weapons. Prior to that, we completed Scene 7 and we recruited our first priestess. We didn't get a chance to use her, unfortunately, because I didn't have any weapons that she could equip. So, I made a point to use a priestess briefly in this video. As far as the plot is concerned, we saw a flashback in which the knights we recruited were discussing the state of affairs. The time frame was 4 nights before the tragedy at Aventhium Castle, with the location of the flashback at Regniberg Bridge 4. That was the same place that we had just fought some monsters in present time. Anyway, the flashback opened with Krozef, the Lance Knight, wondering what was keeping the messengers. Apparently it had been 3 days since the messengers were sent out. Simone, the priestess, suggested that maybe something had happened to the messengers. Seems like a reasonable question. Lillian, the duelist, also pointed out that they had sent a total of 4 messengers so far and none had returned. At this point, Krozef makes an unsettling statement that they are being separated from authority. Separated from anyone who can make a decision. It's a pretty disturbing thought to be cut off from command with who knows what's going on. At any rate, Lillian recommends sending multiple messengers out this time, so that if something happens, maybe at least one of them can make it back. She then volunteers to go, so we have to commend her for her bravery. Krozef, who seems to have at least some degree of authority, agrees with the plan and decides to go as well, along with some men with strong legs. With that, the flashback ends. Now, we know this flashback takes place in the same location where we recruited all those knights we just saw talking. So based on that, I'm going to assume that Lillian and Krozef didn't make it too far. This is a guess, which I'm basing off a previous flashback. In fact, it was the very first flashback we saw after finishing Scene 1. That flashback was set 1 day before the attack on Regniberg, and was located at an abandoned church. The same abandoned church that the Armored Maiden released us, the Wisp. Anyway, we saw how Johann was killed by a monster, and sure enough, his spirit was left behind in the abandoned church. That's actually where we found him. Anyway, based on that, I'm making an assumption that the location of the knight's spirits serve as an indication of where they died. I might be way off with this assumption, so we'll see. If we get new information that suggests otherwise, we'll have to update our theory. Anyway, moving on. We then saw a present-time flashback, a cutscene, in which Cardinal Cape Horn is wondering where Yelma is. Now remember, Yelma is the witch that Cape Horn promoted to General suddenly. I don't think we've actually seen Yelma in the game yet, however she seems to have an impression on everyone. After he sees that Yelma's not there, he tells his General Aquina to go fetch Vishna, a hermit. Once Vishna joins them, Cape Horn commands her to watch Yelma, and to let him know what she's doing. Vishna agrees to this and then leaves the room. At that time, Cape Horn's other general, Leonel, says that he finds Yelma creepy, and that he thinks it would be just to get rid of her. That she's too weird to keep around, especially since she just comes and goes as she pleases. Aquina agrees with this notion and reiterates that Yelma is not to be trusted. Cape Horn hears these complaints, but decides that Yelma is too valuable to him right now. He suggests that once she outlives her usefulness... And that brings us to the preparation screen for Scene 8. So, let's get into it, shall we? Alright, here we are at the familiar setup screen. Let's check out what knights we have available this time. Bonita Yorick. Liz Ragford. And Freeber Permiel. So, a duelist, a priestess, and a wizard. As for the objects, we have a chest, another chest, and then 2 patches of grass that we'll have to break. Alright, business as usual, let's load up our key items. Bonita, the duelist, looks like that's hers. And Freeber, the wizard, that belongs to him apparently. From that point on, it's just a matter of loading up some weapons. Now, Bonita, I don't know if you caught this, but she actually has fairly low vitality, only 10 vitality. Remember, vitality is depleted every time you perform an attack. 0.1 vitality is removed if you do a regular attack, but then 0.5 is removed if you do a skill attack in which there's a weapon equipped. So Bonita doesn't really have a whole lot of attacks she can do before she'll be in trouble. And, as usual, we'll start the round by talking to people. Jorgen was an NPC from the previous round. Lillian is a duelist that we've recruited. Okay, Bonita and Freeber will now join us. And I start the round by moving Bonita up a few spaces. That puts her in position to beat on that treasure box and the patch of grass and get the key items out of it. Now, of course, the treasure box is a container, so you have to be careful. You can't hit it too hard. So that was a full charge, and it brought the treasure box to, I will say 40% damage. Hit it again. And there comes the key item. Oh, I take it all back. It's a mimic. It's a goddamn mimic. So at this point, I'm panicking. Like, shit, I can kill that, right? I give Freeber a chance. However, the mimic goes out of his range, so Freeber goes on standby, and I try again with Bonita. And I'm thinking, please die, just die. There it goes, it's down. In the confusion, I managed to reactivate Freeber and then cancel his attack like an idiot. So that's why he wasn't on standby anymore. Alright, now we're just getting some kills for the rest of the round. Freeber can't reach that patch of grass near him, so at this point I decided there's not much left to do. I'm just going to turn the remaining time I have and get some magic points out of it. Alright, in preparation for the next round, I made some changes. Bonita was pulled out, Johan was put in so he could destroy that patch of grass. There I gave him a Law of Phase weapon, a fire weapon, which will work well against that ice enemy near him anyway. Liz got pulled out, but then she was put back in Freeber's spot. So now she's in the upper left corner. So I better load her up with a weapon, and for once we'll actually see a priestess do something. And that left a one last spot available. In the end, I decided to put in Moira, our hermit, so she could farm gems if needed be. In the meantime, here's some key items to load up. Alright, there goes Moira. Didn't need a weapon from Moira. She wasn't going to do any real attacks, just some regular attacks in case I needed gems. And we begin the round as usual, delivering our key items and talking to people. Although I really need to break my habit of saying talk to them. Again, we're not talking to them, we're just eavesdropping on their inner monologue. There I'm hiding. Wasn't too confident I could dodge that, and then I slam into a spider for no goddamn reason. So, call me sentimental, but that was a little touching to read. Okay, Liz is now on board. Here I'm using Johann just to get some quick gems. I only have 2 magic points at this point in time. There, Johann was able to kill that blob and also break the axe, or excuse me, break the grass at the same move. That worked out pretty good. Alright, here goes Liz. A priestess is attacking. Check it out. Pretty damn good range, huh? She got the key item out of that patch of grass near her. Now I've got Moira just trying to pound on that guy so we can get some gems. And frickin' knight blocked it. There, he was busy doing his own attacks, so he didn't block that one. You can also get those knights when they're in transit between squares. So they're vulnerable then, and when they're doing their attacks. Alright, make another stab with Liz here. Now that is some pretty damn good range. And she managed to kill the knight. Good job. Unfortunately, her weapon can't handle the height disparity between where she's standing and where that treasure box is. Actually, I should say where her first blow lands in the treasure box. So the spider's getting a little splash damage, but nothing really significant, and it's really kind of a waste of time to try to attack him. So I end the round using Moira to farm gems out of him. You max out at 9 magic points, so this round's over, and I use the rest of my time to convert to experience points. So we have a flashing monster on the screen, so that witch in the purple section I could kill and end the round. But I'm certainly not ready for that, am I? I still have that treasure box to take care of. Alright, Bonita gets swapped back in for Johann, so she can handle that blue enemy in her region. Well, Johann gets put in Moira's spot, so then he can attack that empty patch of grass now. And Liz, unfortunately, I don't see much use for anymore, so I pull her out and put Dreas, our archer, in. He should be able to hit that treasure box. Silver Rapier for Bonita. And it would be ideal to have a ice bow for Dreas so he could hit that fire enemy. Unfortunately, I didn't want a law phase weapon. I wanted to be able to hit the treasure box and the enemy, so I was forced to use a chaos weapon. And for that reason, I equipped this handmade bow, neutral affinity. There's our last bit of key item, excuse me, for the NPC there. Alright, Johann's going to smash that grass and destroy it. Bonita's going to try and get kills, and Dreas will hopefully open up that treasure box. But first things first, we need to deliver our key item to the NPC.
Engage.
Alright, we gained a weapon for that. There goes Dreas. He's going to hit that spider and the treasure box. Treasure box has not opened yet. It's at 47% damage. At this point, I'm pretty damn nervous. I don't want to overdamage that stupid treasure box. There, Johann destroys the grass. Here we go, charging up. And hit it again, and I'm praying, please don't damage that treasure box. And it opened. Oh, thank God. Alright, oh, my inventory got blocked by that spider web. There we go. I grab the rapier and let Bonita just go to town on these guys.
Your soul shall be pure. Follow my lead. I'm all good to go. Break out. Your soul shall be pure. Follow my lead. We'll obliterate them. Break out. Your soul shall be pure.
That spider's just not gonna die. Come on, buddy.
Your soul shall be pure.
I thought I was gonna have a twofer there, but then the knight blocked like an asshole.
Your soul shall be pure.
Finally, we put that spider down. It took quite a few attacks, didn't it? I don't know what I'm doing here. Why hit this knight with a bow when Bonita's got the Sanctity weapon to do double damage? So I don't know what I was thinking. It worked out though, didn't it? Okay, more enemies that are flashing in the monster matrix that I definitely don't want. So now I've got to avoid them. I'm waiting for those objects I destroyed to respawn. So obviously I can't end the round now, can I? Okay, I just put Moira back in for Johann so she can farm gems and get some hits off. The reason why I have so much junk in my inventory now, it's just very cluttered, is because I spent a few rounds leveling, and so I was given bonus weapons for doing that. But I was not given the opportunity to sort my stuff, so now it's just kind of a big jumble.
Engage.
Alright, here I'm just trying to get some cheap kills, but definitely not to end the round, just to get some kills. Bonita did a good job there.
Your soul shall be pure. Follow my lead.
So we can see the monsters seem to be getting tougher. It's unusual for them to last 3 attacks, but here we are, and that witch was still taking 100% of her damage.
I'm all good to go.
At this point I decided let's get some more pause talks in.
You're gonna get it.
I'll take you down.
Alonso's the Lance Knight we just recruited. Now that's interesting. Remember, the Tiamats are the ostracized race.
I'll carve you into pieces.
The ghost there is locked down because Dreas, being an archer, targeted him. Very handy.
Break out.
I'll carve you into pieces.
And down he goes. Alright, the monster matrix is looking pretty full now, isn't it? A lot of enemies that, upon their death, will end the round. In fact, there's only one blue enemy left in the whole round, and that's that ghost. So I need to be careful not to kill him. And as luck would have it, the treasure box respawned. So Bonita has the job of opening that treasure box without killing that ghost. So the only enemy on the field that's not a final enemy is that knight in the corner. Alright, Bonita gets a quick hit off here. Doesn't touch the ghost. Treasure box has 42% damage. Hopefully another attack will do it. And the ghost is nice enough to get out of the way. Alright, got the key item. And Bonita has begun flashing. She is running low on vitality.
I'll carve you into pieces. It works.
Her vitality in the bottom right corner there said 2.8. 2.8 vitality, and remember it's 0.5 removed every time you do a skill attack. So that's 5 skill attacks and then 0.3 vitality remaining. At this point, I really don't want to risk killing any of these other stupid enemies. So I decide, alright, enough's enough. We'll take experience points. We're still waiting for those patches of grass to respawn. And they've not responded yet. Or respawned, excuse me. So right now this looks pretty ugly. I don't have a lot of incentive to actually fight. I don't want to risk killing the wrong enemy. So because of that, I know I'm not going to fight at all this round. I'm still waiting for the grass to respawn. So I remove all the weapons. Since they're not going to get used, why have them equipped and then have them suffer a duration penalty? By taking them out of the inventory, then I don't have to worry about it.
I'm all good to go.
Wilmgard. I think that might be the first time we've seen that name, but that's the king's name.
I'll take you down.
You're gonna get it.
Oh, Olsen's still referring to the Tiamats, so interesting bit of lore there. Interesting to see what the populace thinks. This is just a random enemy I thought I'd talk to, see what he has to say. Well, okay, I'll go along with that. And with that, there's really nothing left to do. I don't want to fight, do I? Alright, no grass yet. So I go into the round with no weapons equipped.
Engage.
And then just immediately end it.
Time's up.
Alright, one of the patches of grass came back, so Bonita has something to pound on now. Of course, it's the same game she played last time. She can't kill that ghost. And hopefully she doesn't exhaust herself either. Alright, Bonita has her silver rapier loaded up. Let's have her beat up on that grass and not kill the ghost. Please don't kill the ghost.
Engage.
I can't believe I missed.
Holding fire till the ghost gets out of the way. There we go.
Your soul shall be
There we go, key item gotten. Bonita down to 1.8 vitality. I'm using her to farm gems. Now, there she just knocked back that witch upon striking her. That's a thing of the duelists. Nope, knocked her back again. At that point, I'm satisfied, and I want experience points for the remainder of my time. And finally, that last bit of grass has respawned. So I have one last thing to check out, and then I can make kills at last. And sure enough, there's a key item in that grass. So let's load up some weapons for Moira to use. And then at that point, any of the final enemies can die as far as I'm concerned. Bonita, 1.4 vitality. She's getting pretty close.
You shall be engulfed. Follow my lead. Ruler.
Alright, good job. Moira immediately got that key item. Now let's just kill some guys. I was hoping to get a double hit here, get both of them at once.
Follow my lead.
Unfortunately, they're both still standing. Bonita, 0.9 vitality. She's about to lose another 0.5. Come on, Ghost, get over here. I want to hit them both at the same time and get 2 kills if possible.
Your soul shall
And I go for it, but the Ghost gets out of the way in time. I do manage to kill the witch, though. Bonita's still standing, barely. So, once again, I cut out the inventory fiddling. You didn't miss much. All I did was combine all the duplicate stuff I had laying around, and I performed a few minor upgrades so that I could stack weapons of different qualities. I honestly don't think it's worth going through, however there is one thing I need to touch on. Bonita started with 10 vitality, but over the course of the round I used her quite a bit. So now, she's down to 0.4 vitality, which you can see here. I loaded her into the next scene just to take this shot. She's actually flickering, but of course you can't see that because this is just a still image. The flickering really sells it. She's fading away. Now normally I'd spend experience points to level up a knight and give them back some vitality. Or I could transfer another knight into them and then they'd gain vitality that way. This time we're going to load up Bonita and allow her to use up all her vitality. Now don't worry, I'll revert the save, it won't be permanent. But we'll see what happens when a knight loses all their vitality. And we'll do that next video. I have a note written to remind me. I also have a note that says in all caps, use a goddamn gram. So hopefully I can get that checked off my list next video. Anyway, having said that, let's move on. So, we see that the Armored Maiden is still trying to find the Wisp, but more importantly, we finally see Yelma the Witch. From the sounds of that conversation, they've stamped out the remaining knights that were holding out. So it sounds like any organized resistance to Cape Horn has been eradicated. Yelma then seemed to indicate that she wants more power, and this is only the first step. So I guess Team Cape Horn was right not to trust her. I guess we'll see what happens, huh? Alright guys, this was video 12. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.